This is the semifinal bracket. It is hole 17. We are one hole away from a winner on the Ryder Cup. Let's see how this is going to stack up next. Welcome back to Pars and Pours, the Golf Century Whiskey channel, and we are doing the Ryder Cup. It is a takeoff from the Ryder Cup that is getting ready to get played any week now. And we wanted to get done prior to the golf tournament taking off so that we could help you guys understand what the Ryder Cup was all about, what Bethpage Black was all about, and what were the ryes all about that we had picked. So, working our way backwards, the ryes that I picked were ryes that I enjoyed during tastings on our travels through 2024. And this is what we're seeing. And these are not allocated, they're not unicornish, they're none of that. They're things that you can pick up just about anywhere, or if you go to the distilleries, it will be available at the distillery. So let's get to it. So number one, Ryder Cup. We've gone through a lot of stats in the Ryder Cup, okay? A couple of them, we talked about Samuel Ryder being the source of the Ryder Cup, the name for the Ryder Cup, that the trophy 17 inches tall is 4 pounds. We've talked about that, and we've talked about how it is a 28 match event, with 8 being 4-ball, 8 being best ball, and 12 being singles. All right, so we get into that, and then the last one is we're going to talk about is what they called in 2012 the Miracle at Medina, where Europe was behind 10-6 going into the singles and ended up pulling up an upset in order to win. You got to win by 14.5 points, so that's quite a bit. Now, where are we at? We are on hole 17. This is a par 3, 207 yards. It is hole, depending on where you're at on the tee boxes, can be between a handicap of 4 to 6. So it's still in the top, we'll just give it the top 5 of the most difficult holes on the course. Why is it? Well, number one, it's a par 3 at 207 yards. It's probably going to play even a little bit longer depending on wind. And this thing is absolutely surrounded by sand. It is an absolute sand death trap. Now, not to make things worse, but they are, is that the green has a split in it. So that if you hit hard on one side or other of this split, it can force you into one of those sand traps, and your second shot's going to be a bunker shot anyway. All right, so this is not an easy hole, and it goes up and it sets on top. So there is nothing easy about this hole. Even if it was closer, it would still be more difficult. So now you know. All right, so here we are. These two bottles have really, really won the days throughout their testing. Whiskey Thief for certain has had one more round than Old Forester has in getting here, in the way that the brackets were set up. So again, how we're doing this, uniqueness, we're doing it by palate, and we're doing it by taste, okay? And so what we have is, you guys can tell, we have the single barrel rye, and it is 128.9 proof from Warehouse K, floor 1, and it is 64.45 as the proof would suggest. Again, I can't find anything on the mash bill on this thing. However, as you can tell, it is pretty dark, right? And so it does very, very well. So Whiskey Thief, who has been quite the challenger and the winner so far through here, this is a 124.2, so we're very close with each other. And it is a 6-year 95.5 rye, all right? And this is made at Whiskey Thief. We visited there, and this was what started my whole trip down the rye and the thieving and the whole, what we call Build-A-Bear bourbon. So not too bad, right? Not too bad. All right, so as far as uniqueness goes, we know that Old Forester has a really great tour that's there on Whiskey Row. You get to see the histories and the way that they produce their product. However, on the other hand, Whiskey Thief is sitting in the middle of a cornfield, and you have to drive around the corn to get into the facility proper. You stop at a building, they say this is the way to go, and you literally drive a half a mile through the corn to get where they're at, and it's 2 buildings. It's not a very large operation, to be sure. It's the area where they make the product, distill it, and then they have a nice setting on the backside. It's beautiful, and then they have a rack house. This Brown-Forman is just an absolute monster of a company. They've been producing quality product for generations, right? for absolute generation. So we, as far as uniqueness goes, as far as startup, everybody knows about that. So we might give the nod to the Whiskey Thief, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So I started from the right. Last time we're going to start from the left and start with Old Forester. So right off the bat, you get there's a level of sweetness, and again, I know I've said it a dozen times now, but when you think these ryes, you would think there's grainy, earthy tone type stuff, and I've only gotten it in 2 of the bottles out of all the ones that we've had, and this is no different. So after 3 attempts, you get like I call it a burnt brown sugar note. I get the hint of the rye spice in the background, and just a level of sweetness from a other note here. And this one I get a lighter tone. It's not as dark as this one. It's a lighter tone in that almost, I want to say, and I don't even like them as peaches. It's almost, when I smell this, it's a lighter fruit note. Yep, it's just a lighter fruit note with a barrel char maybe, and that's kind of what you get out of it. So a little darker, a little more layered than the Whiskey Thief. The Whiskey Thief is certainly good, but in this case it's just a little lighter. And today I am preferring darker. Okay, first one of the day. As we give it a swirl, you can't see it here, but there's some serious legs that are going on. So even in the first taste of the day, I still get the caramely, oily finish, and it does have a lingering finish. So let's go with now that I'm acclimated. Yeah, so in this one you get the caramel note, which is somewhere in between that burnt sugar and the finishing note. That's right on the front of the palate. The middle is coated very, very well oily, and then the finish is a medium strong finish, which is to be expected from the Old Forester single barrel. In the bourbon range, it's got a reputation for being hot. You have to catch the right single barrel at the right time. Okay, let's go with Whiskey Thief. Again, it's not off-putting at all. It's just lighter, that's all. And as it being lighter, it gives you that lighter flavor. It's they're almost an undetectable finish. We're gonna wash out the palate and try it again and see if I'm not getting any extra from the carryover from the Old Forester. All right, so here we go. Okay, so now that's a little bit different. I'm glad I did this. Okay, now that I've had this, the front end, you get that grain, the rye spice. That's what I'm tasting, and that's what that lighter note apparently is. Yep, that's what it is. It's I'm getting that rye grain, the rye spice right there on the front. Almost kind of an orangey kind of thing in the middle, and then the back is what I would call a medium-low kind of finish. Not bad. It's a great flavor. It doesn't linger as much, so if you don't like a bigger, bolder, want to sip on it and have it taste good and then drift away, that's where you're at. All right, back to the other one. We'll wash out again. All right, cleared the palate. Let's try it again. Okay, after 2 tries of this, these are 2 totally different kinds of ryes. This one's deeper, a little smoother, a little oilier, and has just this complete taste as it goes all the way to the back. This one is lighter, has more of the rye grain to it, but it's still not a good, like, kind of, it's not brutal. In fact, that's the reason why it's here. It's a smoother. Basically, if you've been on the farm, you would understand this, and immediately. And rye is not too terrible when you're out there, but it tastes just like that. And I'm sorry that it does. I'm not explaining to you in the best sort of way, but it's just a lighter, maybe 2 layers where the other one's more, and we'll go from there. So again, we'll give the uniqueness for the thieving capabilities that Old Forester just has not accepted, to the uniqueness to Whiskey Thief. However, we are going to give the palate and we are going to give the nose both to Old Forester Single Barrel. So there it is. Hole 17 is complete. We are now on our way to the finals. We're on our way to the finals, and the 2 competitors on hole 18 are going to be Old Forester Single Barrel and Hard Truth's Caramel Malted Rye. So, hey, stick with us, see what the finals will hold up for us, learn a little bit more of what's going on out there, and like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe, please. And as always, we want you to save those pars, but share the pours.